Hey, Pete here for Studio Live today. Now, in order to create good music in GarageBand 2.3 on your iOS device, you need to know how to manage your files. So if you need to know how to rename, to move, to copy, to duplicate, to tag, to favorite, to put into a folder, if there's any of those that you need to find out how to do, this is the complete and definitive guide to using the new files integration in GarageBand. So let's go. Okay, before we get started, this video is going to be long, so I wanted to let you know that if you're looking for a particular solution to a problem, take a look down below because we've got time codes in there with all of the different descriptions of what we're going to be going through here. So if you want to know something in particular, have a scan through and I give you absolute permission to jump through to the right part of the video. If you want to become a guru of file management in GarageBand, then stick with me. We're going to go through everything right here. So what is the new Files app and how does it integrate within GarageBand? So Files app is a brand new way to manage the files on your iOS device. And what it does is it integrates your on-device files with iCloud, Dropbox, Box, Google Drive, OneDrive, and a number of other cloud storage platforms. So that means it's really easy to manage your files on your iOS device. How that relates to GarageBand is that GarageBand now uses direct Files app integration to manage your GarageBand files right here within the GarageBand app. So it's a very convenient and easy way to view, access, and move around all of your files here in GarageBand. Now today I'm using an iPhone 6s Plus, so all of the layouts and configuration you see is based on this device. If you're using a smaller iPhone, everything will be in around about the same location, but you just may have to view it on a slightly different screen, or you might not get everything in the one spot. You might have to scroll through and hit some buttons to get to the next bit. If you're viewing on an iPad or a larger device, an iPad Pro, then you're going to have plenty of real estate and you might actually have more easy to access options. So I went for middle of the range here to make sure that everyone got a bit of an idea of where things are going to be located for them. So let's get into it. We have opened up GarageBand here and where we will land is in the Recent tab. So down the bottom here, you'll see we've got Recent and Browse. It'll jump us straight into the Recent tab. And here we can see all of our recent projects listed that we've been working on recently. And not surprisingly, we can just tap on one of these and it's going to open up the project, and then we can go back to My Songs and it will take us back to the Recent tab. From here we can also access the file options. So if I hold down on one of these projects, then you can see that across the top there, it gives me a series of options: copy, rename, move, delete, share, tags, and info. And these are the same options that we have when we go into Browse. So I'm going to actually show them there, but I just wanted to show that you can do some, not quite all, but some of those functions here from the Recent tab as well. If we want to view all of our projects that we have on this device and on all of our storage platforms, we just need to pull down to reveal this See All option we have at the top here, the little blue See All. We tap on that, and now we have every single project and file that we have on this device and on iCloud, and it tells us the name and also where it's actually stored. You'll also notice up the top here that we can sort these either by name if we want it in alphabetical order, or by date, which is going to put the most recently saved or open project right at the top there for convenient access. We also have the option to view these as an icon, which it is at the moment, or we can tap on the icon at the top here, and that's going to change it to a list view so that we can scroll down and we get a little bit more detail on each of these projects. And finally, we have a search box, so we can tap here in the search box, we can start typing, and it's going to go and find all of our projects, and this searches not only the device, but iCloud and even our recently deleted items. So if we're looking for something we know the name of, then we can jump in here and start searching and find that. Okay, so let's move over from the Recent tab and go to the Browse tab, because this is where we can do all of the different actions that we need to within the Files integration here. So we'll tap on Browse and we'll bring up our browse windows. So you'll notice that the layout here has the locations over on the left, and if we scroll down you'll see we have locations, then favorites, then tags, and they're all over on the left hand side, and the right hand side here is all of our project files and folders. So If you've got a smaller device like an iPhone 5, you'll notice that you can't view both of these at once. You have to tap into one of these projects, one of these folders, and that will take you over to the actual pane. If you're on a larger device like this or an iPad, you'll be able to view all of these in the one screen like this. So over here on the left, the locations is the first in our navigation pane here, and by default it's opened. I've just closed it there. If we tap the little wheel there, it's going to bring down all of our locations, and we can see the locations we currently have on this particular device that we can move and store files on. Our next menu is the favorites menu, and at the moment I've got just one folder in there. By default you won't have any favorites in there to start with. And one thing to keep in mind is that favorites can only be folders, they can't be files, and we'll show you more about that when we get to the section where we're going to be adding favorites. And finally, we have tags. So tags by default are red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, grey, work, home, and important. And when we get to the tags section, I'll be showing you how we can edit those, rename them, and actually make those useful so that we can start tagging our projects as well. And finally, on the right is the files window. So if we tap on this GarageBand folder here, then we can go in and start looking at all of the files that are stored either on our device, on the phone or the iPad, or on iCloud Drive where they may be stored as well. So this, as you can see, is on my iPhone, and these are all of the projects that I currently have sitting on this phone that are not actually backed up to the cloud or located anywhere else. They're all literally on the storage of this particular phone. Okay, let's spend some time looking at the locations section here. So as I mentioned before, it's a list of all of the locations that we have here, but we can actually edit that list by tapping on the edit icon. And that's going to bring up this view where we can do a number of things here. We can add or remove the locations that we want. So if I don't want my Google Drive or my Box or my Dropbox anymore, I can actually disable those. And then if I click done, they're going to actually be removed. If I tap edit, add those back in by selecting them and hit done, then they're back there and we can access those again. We can also change the order of the locations as they appear. So if I tap on any of these three lines here and hold down, then it's going to allow me to move any of these around. So if I wanted my on my device to be the very top one, and then my iCloud Drive to be second, then I can set it like that. I hit done, and now they're the first two locations that will show up. So a handy little way to make sure that the locations used the most are going to be right there at the top. So you might be seeing all of these different locations and these different cloud services and be getting a bit excited because you're thinking, I can start using my Dropbox or my Google Drive to store and to retrieve all of my GarageBand projects. Unfortunately, that's not completely true, because at the moment, iCloud Drive is the only cloud storage solution that works seamlessly with GarageBand files. The reason for that is that in iOS and in iCloud, the GarageBand is a .band file, but when you then translate that over to Dropbox or to a PC or to another platform, it becomes a folder structure. So it's a folder with a lot of subfolders and subfiles in there that it then won't recognize. So if you save out to Google Drive, for instance, and then try to open that project, it's not going to be able to open it with GarageBand. So a bit unfortunate at this stage, but I wanted to advise that now before people start getting too excited about the ability to use some of these other services. You'll see here at the bottom we have an interesting folder, which is the recently deleted folder. So if I tap on that, what this is it's actually all of the different files that I have that I have deleted from my device, from iCloud, or even from some of my other platforms if I've done it through here. Now, what I'm going to do is just sort by date on here. And you can see here are some of the most recently deleted files that I have deleted. And I'll be showing you how to delete files later, but I just wanted to go through this section and show you how to recover a file that you may have deleted by accident. These are stored for 30 days by default. And if you want to delete one of these permanently, if you tap and hold and release, you've got two options. You can either delete it now, which means it's gone for good, or you can recover. If you hit recover, it's going to send it back to whatever location you deleted it from. If you hit delete now, it's gone forever. So be careful before you delete things, but again, it's another nice way that Apple keeps things here for you in this recently deleted folder, just in case you need to go and recover something. Now let's have a look at the favorites location here. So you'll notice that I've already got one folder here set up under favorites, and if I tap on that, it'll take me to my GarageBand folder, which is under my iPhone folder location here. So the way that we can actually add a new favorite is let's just go back and say I'm going to go to my locations and I want to go to my iCloud drive. Then I want this GarageBand for iOS folder to be in my favorites. All I need to do is tap and hold on GarageBand for iOS, and drag across and let it go there on my favorites. And that is going to now, see, we've got a GarageBand for iOS, which I know is my iCloud drive folder, and GarageBand, which is my on my device folder. So I can go into favorites and I've got quick and easy access to those two folders right here under favorites. Now, if you're using an iPhone 5 or a smaller device that doesn't have the two panes here, what you'll need to do is instead of clicking and dragging, you'll need to hold down and let go on a folder, and then you'll notice here that we've got these options. So we can now unfavorite from here, and that will take it away. If we do the reverse, if we tap and hold and let go, we can favorite, and it will put that back into our favorites section. Okay, let's talk tags. So tags is a brand new feature in the Files app, which has integration right here into GarageBand as well. So if we tap on tags, by default, we've got all of these very colorful but rather useless tags with red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and so on. So what we can actually do though is we can edit these tag names to make them more useful. So let's tap on the edit button at the top here, and you can see now we have the ability to start changing some of these. So if I want to change red, I'm just going to tap where it says red and delete that. And let's just say that any ideas that I have are now going to be this ideas tag, and that's going to be red. And let's do the same for green, and we'll delete, and let's call these complete. So if I've got an idea, I'll have it yellow. If I've got a completed song in here, a completed project, then I'll have it green. Seems pretty logical to me, and certainly better than using just colors as the tags. From here, we can also change the order of the tags. So now that I've got my two tags that I want to use, I can tap and hold on the complete here, drag it up to the top, and now I've got my two frequently used tags, my red and my green, that are going to be up here and ready and easy for me to use. We can delete tags from here. So if I don't want all of these different tags, which I kind of don't, I can tap on the little negative sign here and then hit delete. And every time I do that, it's going to get rid of another tag. Don't worry, you can get them back. So we can create a new tag. And here it's telling me that I've actually tagged an item with that blue tag. So I'll cancel that because that would mean that it would untag that item. I'm not sure why I tagged it blue, but I did. It's nice that it let me know that as well. So to create new tags, as you'll see here, there's nowhere here that you can just enter in a new tag. So to create a new tag, we're actually going to have to hit done and then actually go out and go to a file that we want to tag to create a new tag. So if we tap and hold on one of these files and release, we've got tags as one of the options. Let's tap on tags. And from here, you can see that we can either allocate one of our already predefined tags, or we can add a new tag. Let's tap add new tag, and let's just call this tag in progress. And we'll make this one yellow and tick done. So there you go. You can now see that we have an in progress, an ideas, and a complete tag. I hit done now, and then that particular track changes to yellow, which is telling me that it has a tag that is an in progress tag. And if you want to add other tags to other tracks, it's just the same process. If we tap and hold on this track, let go, hit tags, then we can come in and tap any of these. We can have multiple tags. Makes no sense to have ideas and complete, but let's just say we wanted that. We can select both of those, hit done, and then that file now has those two, that red and that green tag. So if we're searching via tags, then it's going to bring that file up if we search in either complete or in ideas. Let's move on to locations. So the first location that we're going to look at is on my iPhone or iPad, or name of your device. So we're going to tap on my iPhone in this case, and if we tap on this GarageBand folder, it's going to take us into all of the internally stored files that we have on this particular device. So these are files that are nowhere else but on this particular device. And as we scroll down, we can see all of the files that we have here, and these are not backed up to iCloud. They're not stored anywhere else. They're all stored right here on this device. One of the things that we have that's actually hidden when we first go to this file pane, and it has thrown a few people, including myself, off to begin with, is if we just drag down on the pane, you can see we've got 3 options across the top there, and I'll show you what those options do now. Our first option is to create a new folder. So if we tap on the icon up the top there to add a new folder, we can now create our own folder. So if I wanted to store all my ideas in a particular folder, I can now create, I already have an ideas folder, so it's asking me to select a different name. Let's try that again and look at complete. If I can spell it, complete. Okay, so now we've created a complete folder that we have here. And if I wanted to say this song, my song 5, very well named song, is complete, what I can do is actually tap and drag that and place it into that folder, and you can see now that this complete folder has 1 item. We go into it and there is our song ready to be accessed. The other options we have at the top here is to sort. So we can sort by name, date, size, and tag. So name is pretty self-explanatory. It's alphabetical order by name. Date is the most recent project. So that's the default option that I tend to use because it gives me my most recently accessed or saved project right up the top there. And then we can sort by size, which is going to put it in order of smallest to largest file size. And we can finally sort by tags, which is going to sort by any tags that we have at the top, which in this case we only have 1, so it's not going to be a lot of use. But they're the 4 ways that we can actually sort our projects that we display here in the file pane. We also have the option to either view as icons, or if you tap in the top right here, we can change that, and you can see there it's changed to a list view. So depending on your personal preference, if you like things in nice lists, or if you'd prefer to have the larger icon view, then you can adjust that and set that as you wish. Finally, you'll notice the big plus create document button. So if we tap on create document, that is going to create us a brand new track. So just like we used to do, if you wanted to create a new project, you could come in here and hit create document. It'll create your new track. And then when you go back to here, if you've done any changes, the new document will be there. Let's do that again and actually do a change. So if we just grab this keyboard and we'll record for 1 second, just so that we have some sound there. Now when we go back to my songs, we have, and we're sorted by tag, so we need to go back to date. And there we go. There's our My Song 5 that we have just recorded, and we can go ahead and name, move, and do whatever we want to do with that from here. Let's now take a look at the file actions that we can do here in the file management pane of the Files app in GarageBand. So for this, I'm going to be using this file at the top here, which is called $2 Looker theme. And this is actually the theme music for my other YouTube channel's show, which is called $2 Looker. So a quick plug for that. If you enjoy what I do here and you want to see a fun show about online shopping, a little bit left field, then check out $2looker.com, details in the description down there. Okay, so enough shameless self-promotion. Let's actually start looking at these file actions that we can do. So the first we're going to do is copy. If we tap and hold on the file here and release, we can tap on the copy button and you'll notice that nothing has happened. But what it's done is it's copied that file into the clipboard. And what we can now do is if we go to another location like iCloud Drive and we go into our GarageBand for iOS, if we now tap and hold anywhere in this pane outside, so I'm just going to tap just above this stay in your lane, except I tapped on it. Let's try that again. Go back. We'll tap just above like that. You can see we've now got an option to paste there. So we tap paste and there is our theme pasted in there, ready to go. So what I'm actually going to do is delete that for now because I want to show you another way and an easier way that we can get this over onto that particular folder. So I'm just going to tap and delete. And let's go back over to my iPhone and we'll look at the next action that we can use. So once again, I've tapped and held down on that particular song. I'm now going to hit duplicate, and this has been around for ages. There you go. You've just witnessed live an error that I've never seen before. So clearly a few teething problems still here in this version. Anyway, What I did is I tapped and held and hit duplicate, and we've now got a second version of that same file down here. Once again, let's just delete that, tap and hold, hit delete, because we don't need that here, but that's super handy if you're working on a project and you're about to make some big changes. A good idea is to duplicate the project, create a backup version, or do your version numbers, so version 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That way, if your latest version fails and you think all the changes you've made are bad, you can go back to a previous version. It's a really good way to control your versions and control your updates in GarageBand. So now let's look at renaming. We'll tap and hold again, and this time we'll hit rename, and as it suggests, we can now rename the file. So if I wanted to call this theme and update and add that to music and hit done, it's now going to be called $2 Looker Theme Music, and now we can't see the whole title on there. So that's a quick and easy way to rename it, and especially if you have these sort of things like My Song 5, you can tap and rename those, because things like My Song is not really going to help you know what the actual track was originally. Now, when we did copying, I told you that there was an easier way to copy over to your iCloud drive, and that's to use Move. So if we tap and hold again, and we tap on Move, this time it's going to bring up a dialog box, and it's going to ask us where we want to move this file to. So I'm going to select my iCloud drive, and I'm going to select GarageBand for iOS. And you'll notice here that the top button here says copy and not move. So we've said to move, but it's actually going to make us copy that file. So anytime you're copying from your device over to iCloud Drive, it will leave a copy here on your device and put a copy to iCloud Drive. The reason it does that is it puts it onto iCloud Drive and immediately starts uploading it, which we'll show you later in the video, but it wants to make sure that you have that backup copy on your device, because if something goes wrong with the upload and it fails, then you're without any copy of your project. So it won't allow you to move from here over to the iCloud Drive. You do need to copy, even if you select the move option, which is the option that I use to get items over into the other folder. To delete a file, you've seen me do it a few times just in the examples already, but we want to get rid of this My Song number 5, so I'm going to tap and hold, I'm going to tap delete, and it's gone. It goes into our recently deleted folder over here, where we've got 30 days to go in and recover it if we want to, or if we want to get rid of it forever, we can go into there and permanently delete it from the recently deleted folder. We can share a file from here. So we can share by tapping and holding and tapping on share. We can share as a song, a ringtone, or a project. So if we want to just export the audio file, we can tap on song. If we wanted to export a ringtone to use on our phone, we can choose that. And exporting a project is not actually that necessary anymore, which we'll tell you why later. But if you do want to export the project file, you can do that from here as well if you wanted to share that. And more about sharing later in the video. A few more file actions to go. Let's tap again, and this time we're going to choose tags. Now, I showed you this right at the start of the video. If you want to add a new tag or add tags to this particular project, we can do that here. So for this particular file I know is complete, I'm going to tap on complete, and then I'm going to hit done, and it's going to add that green complete tag, and we can see the little green dot that's next to our file here, and that tag is now added. And last but not least, we can view the file info. So if we tap and tap on info, it brings up an information screen dialog. So here it's telling us that it's stored on local storage, it's downloaded, so we do have a copy of this on our device. It's a GarageBand project. There is a flaw here where the size, if it's stored on your device, the size will always show 0 kilobytes. So hopefully that's going to be fixed in an update upcoming. If it's on your iCloud drive, it will show you the size, but right here on your iPhone or iPad, it's not going to show you the size. It'll also show you the creation date, the modification date, so the last time that it was modified, and any tags that you have on there. And you can actually even add tags directly from there here in the info screen as well. Now, one thing that you might have been thinking about as we've been going through is that's all great if we want to do actions to one file. What if we want to select multiple files and do an action to all of those files? Well, we have the ability to do that with the select button at the top here. So if we just find a section where we have a few files together, if we tap on select, then we can tap each of these 3 files, or as many files as we want to. If you've got 20 files, you can select them all there, but we've got these 3 files selected now, and down the bottom here there's a row of icons, and these may be icons or they may be words depending on the size of your display. But from left to right, we have the share, the duplicate, the move or copy, and the trash to delete. So these are exactly the same as if you tap and hold and do those on a single file, but they will do that action to all of these files. So for example, if we tap on this one, it's going to say, where would you like these to copy to? I won't do it, but if I hit copy here, it's going to take those 3 files and push them all over to my iCloud drive. So if you're just getting started and you have nothing on your iCloud drive and all of your files here on your device, that might be a good thing to do first of all, is to go through and select all or any that you want to make sure that you don't lose, and do that copy process and put a copy of those over onto your iCloud drive. Speaking of iCloud drive, let's go over to the iCloud drive file storage and have a look at what's going on here. So in your iCloud drive, first of all, you'll see that there is all of my different files here. So mine's quite badly organized on my iCloud drive, but all of your GarageBand for iOS projects with the new update have all been pushed into this GarageBand for iOS folder. So you don't need to go trawling through trying to find them. They're all right here. So if we tap on GarageBand for iOS, you'll see a very familiar looking view. So if you watch the section about file management on your device, it's exactly the same here on iCloud with a few small exceptions, which we'll be going through in the next few sections of this video. Now, you've probably already noticed this, but you'll notice at the top here, $2 Looker theme music, which is one of the files that we copied over from our device, is now showing up here on our iCloud drive. So that's exactly what we wanted it to do. So we can now tap in here and open up that file and do our editing. And then when we finish doing any edits and we close out of the file, it will come back to this screen. And what you'll notice is a little icon there, which is a dotted cloud, and that is telling us that this file is now uploading to iCloud. So whilst we've made 0 changes here, it's just doing a check and it's just going to re-upload that file to make sure that the very latest version from our phone here is actually what is stored on iCloud Drive. Now, you didn't see it here because there was a gap between it, but when you first copy a file over from your device to iCloud Drive, it will also have this updating icon. And you may also notice there that there is no progress indicator. We know it's 6.5 meg that it's uploading, but there is nothing there to tell us how long that's going to take. And now it's actually finished because that dotted cloud has gone away. So it's not a great system because we can't see how long it's taking to upload the file. We only know that it is uploading, and if you've got a 100 meg file with a whole lot of external audio recorded parts, it's going to take a long time every time you open it. So that's why my recommendation is, while you're doing the original tracking and recording and you're making constant changes, it's maybe not a good idea, unless you've got a super fast connection, to have it sitting on the iCloud drive, because every time you open and close, it's going to completely re-upload, re-download that particular file. So we've already seen the 2 statuses that a file on iCloud Drive can have. It can either be no icon at all, as you can see with these top 2 here, which means that the most up-to-date version of that file on iCloud is now downloaded and ready to view and edit on this device. There's also the dotted cloud, which means it's currently uploading, and there's one more icon, which is the download icon that we're going to look at now. So if we scroll down through these, we'll notice that some of these are already on my device, but some, like iCloud Test here from a previous video I was doing, has a little cloud with a down arrow. So if we tap on that one, what it's going to do is it's going to download, and this time we do get a progress indicator, which is much nicer. So it will show us the progress of the download, and once it's completed, it opens up and we're ready to start editing, playing, doing what we want to do. If we close out of that song again now, we will go to the top here because it will sort by date. That's how we've got it set. And we've got our dotted cloud outline again. So it's now re-uploading. And once again, no progress bar. It just says 0 kilobytes. It's going to, in a moment, tell us that it's 400 and whatever kilobytes it was. And then it's going to change back to just like the file next door, showing that it's got the latest version uploaded and ready to use. So here it goes now, 449 kilobytes. It's nearly uploaded, and now it is uploaded. So every time we do that, it's going to go back in and check. Now, if you have a circumstance where you've got 2 different devices and you're working on the same file and it has a conflict that it can't resolve, what it will do is actually create 2 versions. So if you look down here at this file here, electronic loop, it's got the name of one of my devices after it, and that's because I've opened it on two devices. It's re-uploaded the latest version, and it hasn't been able to work out which is the latest version. So it's backed up that file with the name of the device. I can then go in, and hopefully the regular file is the most up-to-date one, but if it's not, I can check this backup file, and it means I don't lose any of those changes, which is a good system to have in place. Let's move on now to sharing our files. So there's really no point creating music in GarageBand or sounds in GarageBand if you're not going to share them and use them in a project, or to share them with people so they can listen to what you've created. So let's have a dive into how do we actually share the results of our GarageBand projects. So firstly, let's export or share a finished song. So if I tap and hold on this file, we've got the share option here that we looked at before. If I tap share, what I'm going to choose now is the song option over here on the left. I'll tap on song, and I've got the ability to choose what quality I want. Now, low and medium, 64 and 128 kilobits is not going to give us very good sound. High quality, I'd suggest, is the lowest that you want to select, or highest quality. So they are compressed formats, which means the file size will be quite small. So for an average 4 or 5 minute song, your file size is maybe around about between 5 and 10 megabytes, which is not going to be very large, and that's good for sharing via Messenger or sharing via email or other platforms that you can't share large files. If you want a high quality file, you can choose either Apple Lossless or an uncompressed format such as AIFF and uncompressed WAV. So you can select whichever ones of these you want, but it will depend on what quality you want. So for this test, we're just going to use highest quality iTunes Plus and hit share. It will have a quick think, and then it will give us this dialog box. So this should look familiar if you've used any apps where you can share or you can send files. So in this video, I'm not going to go into all the different options, but let's tap on iTunes here. And what it's going to do is it's going to send that to iTunes file sharing. So we're now going to have a copy of that file. It's now re-uploading its project file as well, just to be sure. So we've now got a copy of that file in our iTunes file sharing. When we next connect this device to our PC or to our Mac, we're going to be able to access that file and then use it to send off to a distribution service, to put on SoundCloud, to do whatever we want. Obviously, you can do all of that directly. If you wanted to send to YouTube, send to SoundCloud, you can do all of that from your device if you wanted to choose to do it that way. Okay, so let's look at our other sharing options. If we tap and hold, tap share again, and we hit ringtone, then we have the ability to actually create a ringtone and export this track as a ringtone. So I've already exported another ringtone here, which you can see is in, if I tapped on your ringtones, it shows me where that is. So it's actually quite easy to turn any track into your own ringtone. If I hit export, it's going to export it as a ringtone. And in one moment, once it's exported, I can either just say okay and it will store it in my ringtone section, or I can use sound as immediately and set that either as my standard ringtone, my text tone, or I can assign it to a contact. So let's just tap standard ringtone, and there we go. Now the project, the file that I've made, has become a ringtone here on my phone, which I don't use ringtones, but if you're into ringtones, that's a pretty cool option. So finally, the last thing we can share is the project file. So let's tap and hold on our project and hit share, and tap on project. And once again, we have the same sort of options here. We can airdrop it. We can use the standard options to send it out from our iCloud drive. Now you'll notice here that we don't have an option here to send it to the iCloud drive because it's already stored on the iCloud drive. So we don't actually need to do that sending out to iCloud or storing it there. We've already got a copy backed up. And in fact, the reason we don't really need to export this is that if you use a Mac or a PC and you've got iCloud Drive installed, then you've got instant access to all of your project files there. So they're already backed up, they're already accessible, and you can even then create your own local backup directly from your iCloud Drive. So it removes the need to actually use iTunes to share those files. And speaking of iTunes, the other thing you may have noticed is that there's no send to iTunes for your project, so send to iTunes file sharing, and that's because in iOS 11 and the latest version of iTunes, it's been updated now so that as soon as you connect your phone and go into the file sharing section within iTunes, it's going to actually show up and give you access to all of the files that are stored both on iCloud and your device here. So anything that's downloaded, whether it's in the iCloud file or on your device, is going to be available for you to actually copy and manipulate directly from iTunes. So it means that if you're working on a project, you no longer need to stop and export to the iTunes file sharing. It's all integrated and ready to go, which I think is a pretty great feature. Now there's one more thing that we haven't covered. You may have seen this as we've been tapping around. I'm going to go into On My iPhone and GarageBand, and that is the GarageBand file transfer folder. Now I was just talking about iTunes file sharing integration before, and what you may notice is that anything that you've previously had in your iTunes file sharing folder has come into this particular GarageBand file transfer folder now. So these are all of my old exported masters and recordings that I've had, as well as some sound effects and other things that I've used in other projects that I've had stored there just because I've been transferring them between my PC and my iOS device. So they're already here. But you might also notice right at the top here there is that MP3 or that AAC M4A file that we actually exported earlier. So when we exported to iTunes, it pops it straight here in the GarageBand file transfer folder, so that next time we plug in, it's going to be right there in our iTunes and easy for us to find. The even cooler thing that we have is that it will now be available for us to use in our project. So if I hit create document here and do a new project, let's just go to the audio recorder. For starters, like so. And if we now go, yes, we're using AirPlay. If we now go to our track settings and our loops, you'll notice here that we've got a whole bunch of numbers under our loop icon at the top. So if we tap on the loops, like so, then here we have access to all of these files. And you can see the band files. I can't use those to import, but anything that's in a WAV, an AIF, or an M4A, including this entire song, I can now import directly in. So if I want this song to be in here as the actual song file, it's now right here in my project, and it's as a WAV or as the M4A, whatever it was, is now in this project, so I can actually play this. So why that's really cool is that not only for exporting your own songs and putting them in there, but you can move any audio file from any other application in iOS or anything on your Mac or PC. Anything that you put into your iCloud drive and then you can move across into that folder is going to be able to be accessed on that device in any other application, including GarageBand. So if you've got a sound effect, or you've made a project or made a sound or a beat in another application, all you need to do is send it out to files, put it in that location, that GarageBand file transfer, and that'll be instantly accessible right here in GarageBand. Another really cool feature that's going to help with some of your creative processes. We are on the homeward stretch. This is the final section. If you have watched this entire video, double thumbs up to you. Thank you so much for sticking with me, and hopefully you've picked up at least one or two, if not three or four, little tips and ideas that are going to help you and smooth out your workflow. Because let's be honest, all of this stuff is a little bit dry, but if you get this stuff down, if you learn how to use this effectively, it's going to free up your time and let you do a whole bunch more creating in GarageBand. So finally, troubleshooting. So there's been a few things that I've come across that have tripped me up, and I wanted to go through those here just to help you out in case you've come across these as well. So the first thing that we're going to look at is download errors. So as we went through before, if I want to download, if I want to download this file, I tap on it and it's going to start downloading. We're getting our progress bar and it is downloading and ticking along. It's a 13 meg file. It'll take a little while, but there it goes. If I get a download error, there's two key causes. The first is that you don't have an internet connection, so you're not connected to Wi-Fi, and that means you're not able to download. Or the second is you are connected via mobile data on your phone, but you haven't set GarageBand settings to be able to use mobile data. So in order to do that, as this file loads, so it did work. In order to do that, you need to go into your settings and go into the GarageBand settings and actually change that to enable mobile data. And just for reference, here is that section. So we're in settings, the standard settings. You scroll down on the left about, 3/4 of the way down into your actual applications. And over here on the right are all of the settings you have, and mobile data should be one of the ones up the top there. If that is unselected like that, and you're trying to use mobile data to download and upload, it's not going to work. Upload errors. So you can see here that party is uploading, and whilst it has no indicator or no progress bar, which I'm still not happy about, we know it is actually uploading because we've got the little up arrow there and the cloud icon. If you get upload error, it's the same problem as the download error most likely. So either your internet connection is not working via Wi-Fi, or you're using mobile data and you don't have mobile data enabled in your GarageBand settings. Another tip is your GarageBand versions. So we're at the point now where we have different versions of GarageBand. The latest is, at the time of recording this, is 2.3.1. As you can see here, I'm back in the settings section and I'm showing you the version. So right at the bottom here of our general settings for GarageBand, we can see the version number that we have. So where you're having problems, you're creating something on one device, you're trying to send it via iCloud and pick it up on another device and it's not working, chances are that your version numbers are not matching. So you need to make sure that you go to the App Store and update to the latest version on both of your devices, and then that should fix a lot of the conflicts. Keep in mind that older devices, such as the iPhone 5 and 4 and older iPad 1s and 2s, don't have the same version. So for the iPhone 4s and earlier and iPad 2 and earlier, they won't actually even have version 2.1 onwards, which is where a lot of the main changes came in. So they're running a very old version. So you're going to have a lot of trouble trying to sync between those two devices. Plus they won't be running iOS 11 anyway, so the iCloud integration won't be there. For iPhone 5 and iPhone 6s and 7s and 8s and Xs and newer iPads, then the differences are going to be that the iPhone 5 can't run Alchemy Synth, as well as iPad Mini 2s and 3s, I believe, but they can run the new version. So if you've got Alchemy Synth instruments in your project, then that may be a reason why you're having compatibility issues as well. And finally, the new sound packs that are available in the latest version. And finally, the new sound packs, the sound library that is available. If you don't have the latest version across all of your devices, as you can see I don't have here, you may need to go in and actually update. Well, so these are downloaded, just telling me that it's downloaded and it's new. But if you don't have it, you'll go in there and you'll see that it says update or download, and you'll have to get that, because if I create a project that's using a lot of these new sounds and instruments and then try and go across to another device that doesn't have them, it's going to tell me I'm going to need to download them. At the moment, all the sound packs are free. In the future, that's probably not going to be the case. So you may need to make sure that you've updated and downloaded any of the packs that you have on one device and have those across all of your devices. So there you have it. You are now an official guru of file management here in GarageBand 2.3 and iOS 11. It's really handy to have this sort of knowledge, and I do thank you for watching this and my other videos. Please consider subscribing if you like this content and you want to support me, and also check out the link below to my other channel, which is $2 Looker, which is my online shopping show that I mentioned earlier. As I said, it's a departure from this, but if you enjoy some of the content and some of the work that I do here, you might want to take a look. It's very short form and a quick watch. Thanks again for your time, and I'll see you on the next video.